How is Josie doing?
Good morning, everybody. It is 11 o'clock. Thank you for all coming today. You all found your way on. And yes, there is a little bit of a change on the website, but the link is always there. If it's not, oh, here comes David. He had trouble getting on too. So thank you for coming on today. This is level 3. Well, I'm going to push you a little bit today. You can make it as easy or as difficult as you want today, okay? And it's not a difficult. I'm not pushing you to the point of being advanced. But I did do up a preset sheet, and I'm going to tell you why. This is one of my favorite songs by Elton John. It's Daniel. And I've always liked this song, and it just is a feel-good song, and it's easy to sing. It's easy to sing around the house while you're doing your vacuuming and your stuff, and it's just a wonderful song. So I did make some presets. Now I do these so that you can learn how to push the buttons on your instrument. All right. I think this is a pretty decent arrangement. I'm kind of happy with it. And I also have an introduction here so that you can get the exact introduction from the song, and that's pretty easy too, actually. Whoop. Be quiet. I haven't started you yet. Be quiet. All right. There we go. Um,
Is this
is this what?
on song setup?
It is not. It is not, as far as I know. Now, I'm on a Sterling. Some of you that have Marquis, Grand Marquis, Arias, Supremes, all that good stuff, you may have it, but I don't think it's on any of them.
It is on Grand
It's on the,
Marquis.
yeah,
It's on
it's
the
on the
Grand
marquee.
Marquis?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. And what does it come up to?
It comes up to
Boss-
split
Piano,
duet,
To which?
Bossa.
piano,
Bossa.
piano bossa.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, all right.
and
That'll
it's
work.
also on the Inspire and it's on the Journey.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you, Cynthia. That's nice to know. So, yes, absolutely start at song setup if you've got it. Now, for those of you that have smaller instruments, you can play Daniel on Latin full band. Okay, that's going to work just fine. I like guitar flute or just a plain old flute's going to be good as well. You can also do soft rock. Soft rock actually came out pretty nice. I was kind of pleased with that one too. But like I said, I'm a little loopy today. I'm on pain pills, so if if I freeze in front of the camera, I'm not going crazy. I'm just having a tough day today. Okay, so I like it on basic folk or contempo folk style as well. And all this is doing is getting you to push some buttons on your instrument. But if you have it on song setup, just set it up and play. It's a wonderful song. First things first, roadmap. All right, so let's figure out what we're doing. First comes the introduction, then you're going to do verse 1. Now, if you notice, it says 1 comma 3 next to the lyrics. That means that you're going to play actually this first page 3 times. So you might want to make a copy of it and spread it out so you're not flipping pages all the time. I highly recommend that. Page 2, at the end of the second line is your dots. And I'm actually adding a whole measure at the end of that because it's just a little bit abrupt going right from there back to the beginning again. So I'm adding a measure of rest if you want. But where is it going back to? The beginning. So you want to make that same color between the 4/4 and your rest, your half rest. Second time you play this, it's going to be all of page 1, the first line of page 2, the first measure of line 2, and you're going to put a colorful 2 right before that first ending. And if you want, you can make an arrow straight down to the second ending, which is just on line 3. Okay, now you're going to play the bridge, which is, oh, Danielle, my brother, you are older than me. All right, then we go to line 3, Second measure, you have two thin lines. And what that does is that gives you the end of a section and some instructions. It says DC al coda. Go back to the beginning and look for the coda. So now that's where we're going back to pick up the third verse, which is exactly the same as the first verse. Now you're going to play until you find two coda. So all of page 1, the first line of page 2, and the first measure. So it's the same place where it splits off. So you, two coda. Codas always send you forward. You never go backwards with a coda. And you never go back to a coda. Coda's always the ending, the last ending. So you jump from the two coda to the coda, finish the song. Oh, and at the end of the song, I'm actually putting in repeat dots. Why? Because I can. So you need another color. And your repeat dots are going to go to the beginning of line 4. So you're only backing up 2 lines. So you're going to repeat, oh God, it looks like Daniel, must be the clouds in my eyes. And you're going to repeat that one more time, if you want, for the ending of the song. Alrighty. I think I'm going to start with my long one. I've got it set up on Latin and I've got it set up on soft rock as well. But let's do it with the basic folk and listen to some of the changes that I made. And a lot of it has to do with editing style, and it really just gets you pushing the buttons on your instrument. So here we go.
Ready. You added some notes.
I did. All right, they want me to confirm my speaking language.
Again, that happened the other day.
I know. They've changed some stuff on here. I know.
Well,
That's all right.
did you put English?
Oh, I hope so.
We don't know. You're a little tipsy today.
I am. Yep, I did put in extra notes. But did you hear some of the changes in the background?
Yes. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, because I started out, I edited the style for the folk style, because normally, first of all, I've got it on alter style. But when you first start playing here on the page, I took out the Orchestra Plus and I edited the style for the genie. So what's the genie actually doing? I changed the sound to a piano. It's an electric piano.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was awfully loud, so I had to also lower the volume. So these are things you can do if you like what you've got, but you go, yeah, it's just not, something just not quite right. You can go in and change your Genie Basic or anything in your Orchestra Plus. It's going to do the same pattern. So it's doing the same pattern. I believe it was a guitar before. And you can just touch it, turn it blue, and scroll until it gets to something different. Like if I wanted it to do
What is going on?
piccolo, a recorder. So you can change it to whatever you want. So you can change the sound, but you're not changing the pattern. The pattern is going to stay the same. So I'm on the piano electric Whirly, old Wurlitzer piano, and I like the way it made that 70s sound. It gave it like a 70s piano sound in the background.
Yep.
So follow the instructions. If you have any issues, go see your favorite PA at your favorite store or just email me. I'm more than happy to answer questions. I added some notes. I added a few chords, but very few. So Joanne, don't worry about it. All right, let's go to the first page. The second line, you may make that G a G7. Third line, second measure. The A minor chord is good for 3 counts. Beat 4 over the C, put a G gorilla. So you're doing A minor, G, F. Just going right into it. Let's go to the second page. Second line. Over the word clouds, the very first beat, put an F, fish. Okay, now if you're going to add a measure at the end of the first ending, you're going to just add a measure of rests, and you're going to put a G chord over it, or a G7, which is the lead-in chord to get you back to the beginning, which is a C.
We don't have to do that though, right?
No, you don't. You can play it exactly the way it is if you want.
Okay.
And it'll be absolutely fine. Yeah, that is completely optional. No more changes on that page. The chords here are really simple. If you go to page 3, second line, we're going to change the F minor chord to an A flat. Now here's the difference in how it sounds. I'm on E4. Okay. Let's go back. F minor. That's okay. But if you play the relative major, which is the A flat, I think you're going to find that it sounds a lot better. Sounded
Yeah.
good, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So change that F minor to an A flat. And it's their sister chords because what's the second note in the F minor?
A flat.
A flat, correct. So use that relative major, the A flat, and it's going to sound a whole lot better.
Mhm.
All right. Very last line of the song in the coda, you have a G7 that's good for one measure. Second measure over the F for clouds, put an F. I think you'll like how that sounds.
Yeah.
Okay, now you want to know where the extra notes are, right?
Yep.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, on the second page, second line, you said at the end of that, a line, put a G7,
Uh-huh.
but also you said add a,
Add a measure.
I did.
Yeah, add a measure of rest and put that G7 over that.
Okay, fine, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you can use a fill-in, and that just gives you a chance to, especially if you're turning pages, it gives you a chance to turn the
Uh-huh.
page and go backwards. But it just also gives you a chance to go, okay, we're leading into that second verse. It gives you a chance to kick your foot and go into the next preset.
Right, I can see that. Okay.
Mhm. So to me, that worked a lot easier.
Mhm.
All right, extra notes. Top of the second page.
Da, 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 da.
Uh-huh. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you the notes, and I can let's give it the way it's supposed to be so that you play it right. See that measure, the second measure where you've got a whole rest? It's that rectangle hanging underneath that.
Yep.
We're not going to play a rest. We're going to play all notes there. So here's what you're going to write in. Eighth rest. You remember what an eighth rest looks like?
Yep, that little.
Like a
Seven
seven.
with a volley on the end, yep. An
Hey, what's
eighth rest, and then an high A, and write kind of small because you're going to have to put a couple of notes in here. A is the first line above the staff, A alligator, and make it an eighth note, which gives it a stem and a flag. Then you're going to write G on the first space above the staff,
Oh,
and then you're going to put an F on the first or the top line of the staff, and you're going to connect the G and the F with stems and a flag. Next door to the F, you're going to put a second F on that top line, and you're going to put a tie.
okay, wait a minute, back up. Say that again.
You're going next to your F, you're going to put another F on the
Oh,
same
okay.
line. Put a flag on it. It's going to be a quarter note, and you're going to tie the first F to the second F.
Oh, okay,
I'm just giving you the correct timing of it as well.
right.
And then the last note is going to be an E on the top space, and you're going to put a stem and make that a quarter note. And the first beat of the next measure, you're going to put a D dinosaur on the second line down, or the fourth line up. So now you've got A, G, F with a tie, E, and then D is in the next measure.
Yep.
But you're going to start it on the and of one. So you're starting it with just a little hiccup there. All right. What
Did you
are we?
mention to put two F's up there?
Two
A-
F's, but you're going to tie it.
Okay, okay,
You're going to
okay.
tie them. So it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
A, G, F, and then the F holds a little bit longer. A, G, F, E, D.
Okay.
All right? Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Now remember, those are optional. You do not have to put those in, but
Yeah,
it does add. It makes the song. You're going to do that again in the coda.
Oh.
In the coda.
Mhm.
So line 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth line, the last measure. Once again, you have that whole rest, and you are going to copy exactly what you did up here. A, G, F, tied to an F, E, and then in the last line, first beat, D. Exactly the same as what you did at the top of the page.
What line is that, Dawn? It's in the
That
coda.
is the end of the fourth line. Oh
Okay.
God, it looks like Daniel. Da 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 da. Must be the clouds in my eyes.
So you you put that D on the last line, right
Correct.
before
correct,
that rest. Okay.
Instead of the rest, yes.
Okay. Oh, instead of.
Instead of, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we did in the other one.
Mm-hmm. All right, now you need to know where the presets go.
Yes.
All right. A1, your fancy schmancy intro. A2, you're actually going to kick it in. I have it actually written on your intro, but A2 starts where your lyrics start on the page. All right. At the end of the first ending, A3.
At the end of that second page.
End of the first ending, end of the second line, correct, on the second page.
A3.
Mm-hmm. Second ending, which is line 3.
Yep.
In between the first and second measure, right there where that rest is, A4. That's where I'm adding a country harmony and putting that on top.
Yep.
And then that goes to where it says DCL coda. And right there you're going to put, which is third line, second measure, you're going to put A5. The third page, third line, end of the second measure where you've got the two thin lines and the DCL coda, that's where you put A5. So you play A5 when you go back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the song, we put repeat dots there, remember?
Yep.
You're going to put A6, and then you're going to go back and repeat the last two lines. And all you're doing is bringing it back down to the same thing that you did for the intro, the same setup as the intro.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Ron,
Yes.
the setup page starts with 2 and then goes to 1.
Yes. Uh-huh. The setup sheet starts there. I'm glad you said that. The setup sheet starts on 2 and then goes to 1. Why? Because
Gonna have all that.
A2 is actually the main setup. And when I went backwards to 1, I shut something off on that.
Oh.
Okay? So it was a lot easier to set it up backwards.
Mhm.
And see, then when you go to A3, because all I'm doing is I'm setting up A2, memorize it to A2, and then turn off the Genie Basic.
Mhm.
Don't touch A1 until you turn off the Genie or Basic. And then memorize that to A1. When you go to A3, you're going to start again with A2. It says press A2. Yes, because you play A1. On the intro, you play A1. You're playing it in order, but it was easier to set up. That was actually a good question there, Robert.
John?
The main part of the setup is actually this first page of Daniel. And when I went to the intro, I just took that off, took
Then,
off the basic.
So I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're not playing A2 and then A1.
You're playing A1 first. The intro is still A1.
Okay. Okay.
Playing it in order, but you're
Oh, the
setting
intro.
it up.
That's right.
You're setting it up backwards.
All
So
right.
then A2 goes on the bottom of the intro
It's already there.
Correct.
to
Yes.
start the song.
Correct.
That's
That is
what I thought.
correct. Yep.
Yep.
So you're still playing it in order, A1, A2, A3, but you're
Right.
setting it up. The main body is the A2. And it was just easier to turn off something and go back to A1
Yeah.
and set that up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
All right.
Question.
Yeah.
I played this a long time ago, and I decided on ballroom Latin.
Mhm.
And if I wanted to use that, I would have to adjust the graphic mixer and all that stuff, right? Because it's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different thing, yeah. Yep.
So maybe I'll
I did not have time to try my setups on Ballroom Latin. You can just set it up on Ballroom Latin. Now, I'll tell you what I did do. On Ballroom Latin, I am on rhythm preset 1.
Yep,
Which says
guitar and flute,
2 guitars and a flute on the bottom.
right?
Okay, how about we combine the flute with the guitars?
Oh,
Oh, how do you do that? You got to find where your flute actually is. And it's in solo 1, correct?
mm-hmm.
So you take your solo 1 and you just send it to up or on.
Oh,
If you've
yeah.
got an Inspire, a Rialto, a Marquis, Grand Marquis, etc., you just go to your flute that says going to the lower and just tell it to go to the upper and you're good. All right. So actually, I think it's just as easy here because you're just going to hit up or on because your flute
Yeah,
is
those are the blue
solid
dots.
light.
Those are the blue lights, right?
Those are the blue ones. Your flute
Well, that
is
sounds like that would
solid
be
light.
interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds
So
like-
that's
so
going to
it's
make
gotta
it
be the-
sound a whole lot different, and it's going to sound
Okay.
like this. And that flute's in there.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Dawn, what
Dawn,
tempo
for
did
those-
you use on
I'm
this?
I'm at 120.
Okay. And again, on those notes that you gave us, are the A and the G, those are tied? Eighth
Nope.
notes?
Nope.
No.
The F is the only one that's tied.
Oh, okay.
It's A,
So they're like a
G,
quarter
F,
note?
and the A is an eighth note, the G is an eighth note, the first F is an eighth note tied to a quarter note,
Okay.
and then the
Dawn,
G is a quarter note.
So you can
Dawn,
really
if
do
you-
a quarter note with the dot.
It maybe has. Did I put a dot there?
No, but you
No.
could do that instead of doing two Fs, do one F. and with
No, no,
No.
no. Because you're in the middle of the measure.
Okay.
Has to be written this way. Technically, you are correct. Technically, you are correct, but musically, you're not.
Okay, I just play it how I feel.
Yes, just play it the way you know it goes. Just put the
Very-
letters in and play it the way you know it goes. Yep, absolutely.
Dawn,
Okay, do you
you
need
said
me to
you
play
were-
it one more time? Just so now
Dawn,
you've got
yes.
the presets?
Dawn,
Yes.
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 question. You said you combine, when you, ballroom Latin, you combine the flute with what?
I just sent the flute to the upper keyboard, so it was combining with the guitars.
Guitars, okay, okay.
Yeah, that was preset 1. That was pretty cool. And then I also did it on soft rock and used preset 6, which is a 70s piano. And that actually turned out pretty nice as well at 120. And that would be
Oh,
like
nice.
this.
Soft rock. Okay.
And that
Nice.
sounded good too. And then when
Yeah.
when I got to the bridge, Oh, oh, Daniel, my brother, I added the Orchestra Plus and a country harmony.
Yeah.
I like country harmony.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I use it a lot. All right, let's go back to the original. Let's go back to the folk style. I'm going to play it one more time. You can follow with the presets now, see, and listen for what we did. And then I will give you fingering, and we'll be good. I think. I
John,
think
got a quick question.
yeah.
A4, is it on line 3 there at that rest on the second page?
A4 is yeah, line 3 at the first rest.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Okay. Here we go, starting with the intro. And either an ending or just fade it out.
Pretty.
Very pretty.
It's a
That
pretty
made more
song.
sense.
Now it makes more sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
could follow it quite easy. Yeah.
Good.
Good feel
Yeah.
good song.
Yes.
Pardon?
It's a good feel good song. Do you
It
feel
is.
good?
Yeah,
It is.
it is. It's just a nice song.
Yeah.
It's just a nice song to play, and it's a
Yep.
nice song. You know, it just makes you feel good. It
Yeah.
does. I've always liked this song. Yeah. All right, I will give you fingering next week. It'll be June already. Tomorrow's June already. My goodness. Daydream, Love and Spoonful.
Right.
Wow. Cool.
Benchy.
Very good. All right, if you don't need fingering, thank you so much for coming. If you do, stick around, get your pencils out, and let's do some work. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
on today.
Bye.
Bye, Beth.
Bye, Susie.
All right, C4, 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 all the way across. C4, B3, A2, F1. Second line, B3, B3, B3. C4, D5, B3, A2, G1. E4, F5, E4, D3, E4, D3, C2, D3, C2, check mark. Pick up your hand, reposition it. C4, 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 D5, B3, A2, B3, A2, G1, A2. Check mark. D2, C3. Now we turn the page. D4, E5, C4, C3, Start that line again. D4, E5, C3, A1. And the A, G, F, E, D is just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just write down the line. At the end of the line, G1, G1, G1. Second line, F5, E4, C2, D3, C2, E5, D4, C3, B2, A1, G2 with the circle. Second ending, C2. The bridge, E5, D4, C3. A1, C3, D4. Next line, C3, A1, A1, C3. E5, C3, D4. C3, E5, D4, C3. C3, D4, A1. A1, C3, E5, C3, D4, C3, F, it's an E, E5, D4, C3, D4, C3, A1. A1, E5, E5, D4, C3, D4. Next line, C3, A1. The high C is a 5, A flat 3, F2, C1, E2. E2, 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 F3, G4. Next line, D1, C2 with a circle, that's a crossover, D3, C2, B1. The coda, C2. Next line, C5, D4, C3. D4, C3, D4, C3. A1, then your lines that we wrote in, A5, G4, F3, E2, and D1. Check mark if you wish, G1, 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 high F5, E4, C2, D3, and C2. Now remember, everything I did today is optional. Your job is to pick up one thing. Okay, just one thing. And if all you picked up was to change the F minor to an A flat, you did good. Okay, so don't think that you have to put in all this stuff. This is level 3. Why did I add it all in? Because I love the song. I kind of
Yeah,
had to.
beautiful. This is my grandson's song. I gotta play this for him.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys
Danny.
are so awesome. Thank you
You
so
are
much for coming
Thank you,
today.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great
I'm
weekend.
confused on one
Yeah, go ahead.
point.
Mhm.
On the notes that we wrote in,
Mhm.
page 3, line 4, you got the
Uh-huh.
AGFE. You counted those as 5.
D on the first line or the first beat of the next
Oh.
line. AGFED. If you don't put that D in there, it's not going to sound right.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
I see where I was goofed up. 5, 4.
5, 4, 3, 2, and D's got to be the 1.
3, 2, that's connected, and the 1. Okay.
Okay.
I just got goofed up. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks, Don.
You guys
Have a
are
good
awesome.
weekend.
You.
Thank you.
Be careful when you drive home.
It should be worn off by then.